The sun was beginning to set when Emily exited the office building, exhausted. The cold night air cut through her bones as she walked to the meeting point to call an Uber. Fatigue was evident in her steps, but the anticipation of getting home kept her motivated. Waving to the approaching black car, Emily noticed the elegance of the vehicle. The driver, Mark, a middle-aged man with graying hair and a friendly smile, opened the door for her, revealing an impeccable interior. "Good evening, Emily. How was your day?" he greeted her, displaying a warmth that seemed genuine. "Hi, Mark. It was a long day, as always," Emily replied, internally grateful to have encountered a friendly driver. She got into the car, feeling the warmth of the heater and the smoothness of the leather seat. As they drove through the bustling city streets, Mark began to strike up a casual conversation, creating a relaxed atmosphere. They talked about the weather, movies, and even shared some laughs about everyday funny stories. Emily initially felt comfortable with the light conversation, but something started to bother her as Mark delved into questions about her personal life. "You've been working here for a long time, Emily?" Mark asked, glancing away for a moment at the rearview mirror. "Yes, quite a few years now. It's a challenging job, but someone's got to do it," she replied, trying to keep the response generic, but Mark seemed determined to find out more. "I imagine you must have interesting stories to tell. Anything special happened recently?" he inquired, his eyes locking onto hers through the rearview mirror. Emily hesitated for a moment, feeling uncomfortable with the intensity of Mark's gaze. "Well, nothing too exciting. Just the office routine, you know." Silence settled in the car for a moment before Mark broke it with an unsettling smile. "Yeah, life can be predictable sometimes, but I guess everyone has their secrets, don't they?" Emily felt a shiver run down her spine. "Secret? What are you talking about, Mark?" The driver chuckled softly. "Oh, no need to get nervous, Emily. I'm just observing that people have layers, mysteries. It's fascinating to discover what lies behind each face." Mark's response heightened Emily's anxiety. She began to question whether she should continue the conversation or simply remain silent. The car left the busy city streets, entering a more secluded and darker area. Now, the atmosphere was palpable. Emily looked out the window, seeing only unknown shadows and the dim light from distant street lamps. "Mark, where are we going?" "This isn't the way to my house," she asked, trying to stay calm. Mark smiled again, but this time it wasn't a friendly smile. "I just thought we could make a little stop. A special surprise for a special passenger like you, Emily." Emily's heart started to beat faster. Fear set in as the car turned onto a deserted and dark road, far from any signs of civilization. "No, please, take me home. I don't want any surprises," she pleaded, anxiety taking over her. Mark remained silent for a moment before letting out a low and disturbing laugh. "Oh, Emily, you're not going anywhere. This stop is necessary. Let's enjoy our time together." Terror spread through Emily's body as she realized that the journey that began with a simple wave had turned into her worst nightmare. The car stopped in a remote location, and Mark looked at her intensely. What would happen next? Emily knew that her only chance was to find a way to escape this nightmare she found herself in. As Mark's car ventured onto a dark and secluded road, Emily's anxiety reached alarming levels. The sparse light from distant street lamps provided only intermittent glimpses of the landscape, creating an eerie and unsettling atmosphere. The silence, once filled with laughter and light conversation, became suffocating. Emily, seated on the soft leather seat, tried to maintain composure as her heart raced. "Mark, please take me home. I don't want any surprises." "This isn't funny," she pleaded, her eyes fixed on the dark road ahead. The sinister smile persisted on Mark's face, revealing a dark side she hadn't noticed before. "Emily, relax. It's nothing personal. We just need to make a little stop before continuing the journey. Mark's response only intensified Emily's fear. Her instincts told her that something was terribly wrong. The car stopped in a remote location, and Mark turned off the engine, plunging the surroundings into an almost tangible silence. "What's happening, Mark? Why did we stop here?" Emily asked, trying to keep her voice steady, although her heart pounded in her chest. Mark turned to her with a penetrating look. "Sometimes, Emily, life takes us on unexpected paths that reveal who we truly are." Emily's eyes widened as she tried to decipher Mark's cryptic words. "I don't understand. Please, just take me home." "I won't tell anyone about this," she pleaded, feeling a lump in her throat. The driver let out a chilling laugh, sending shivers down Emily's spine. "It's not that simple, Emily. You see, people carry deep secrets, and I like uncovering those secrets." The tension in the car reached its peak as Mark opened the driver's side door, indicating that the unscheduled stop was inevitable. Emily felt her body tense, all her senses on high alert. A wave of panic enveloped her as she imagined what could happen next. "Get out of the car, Emily. Let's do this the easy way," Mark said, his tone now cold and calculated. Emily knew there was no choice. She opened the car door and stepped out, feeling the cold night air against her skin. The remote location seemed like a dark stage for an unwanted event. She stayed close to the vehicle, watching Mark with cautious eyes. "You're an interesting person, Emily. I think I'll enjoy uncovering what's behind this seemingly ordinary face," Mark murmured, approaching her with a chilling slowness. Emily's mind worked frantically as she searched for an opportunity to escape this nightmare. Every sound in the darkness made her shudder. The ensuing silence was interrupted only by the rustling of leaves in the wind and the distant hoot of an owl. However, Emily knew she had to stay calm and find a way out. The darkness around her was terrifying, but she was determined to resist whatever Mark had planned. Her heart beat fast, but courage pulsed through her veins as she waited, prepared for the impending battle against the sinister unknown unfolding before her. The night enveloped Emily in a cloak of darkness as she faced Mark, whose gaze now seemed to cut through the twilight with an almost predatory intensity. Her mind spun, searching for an escape, a solution to elude whatever was about to happen. Her instincts screamed to run, but she knew any sudden movement could trigger danger. "Mark, please, this isn't necessary. I won't tell anyone about this, I promise," Emily tried once again, her words vibrating in the cold night air. Mark's smile persisted, but his expression had hardened. "You don't understand, Emily. I don't do this out of necessity, but for fun. Uncovering what people hide is a pleasure I can't resist." Fear continued to intensify within Emily, but a spark of determination ignited in her eyes. She decided she wouldn't be a victim to this sinister man. "I won't let you do this. I'm not a pawn in your sick game," she declared, keeping her voice steady even as her legs trembled. Mark laughed, a cold and inhuman laugh that resonated in the silent night. "You have no choice, Emily. Life is full of surprises, and I am yours." Without warning, he advanced towards her. Survival instinct took over Emily, and she took a step back. In a quick and desperate move, she turned and ran in the opposite direction. Her feet pounded against the uneven ground as she sprinted through the darkness, panic propelling each step. Mark's screams echoed behind her. "You can't escape, Emily. I always get what I want." Mark's words fueled her further, feeding her determination to escape this terrifying situation. Emily ran aimlessly, not knowing where the darkness would lead her. Fear pushed her forward, her lungs burning with effort. Emily's ragged breathing competed with the sound of her footsteps. Tears streamed down her face as she ran blindly, her mind spinning with terrifying thoughts. With every shadow, every gust of wind, She anticipated Mark's presence behind her. As Emily ran desperately, her hands trembled as she frantically searched for her phone in her bag. Finding it, she dialed the police emergency number, trying to stay calm as she explained the situation. Her voice wavered, but the words were conveyed urgently. The police response was swift. They instructed Emily to stay hidden while they dispatched units to her location. While on the phone, she realized she had reached a main road. Emily waved down the first passing car, explaining the situation to a concerned driver who promptly took her to the nearest police station. In the secure shelter of the police station, Emily recounted what had happened, providing details about Mark and the car. Authorities launched an intensive search to capture the fake Uber driver, now identified as a serial killer wanted for multiple crimes. Hours later, the news reached Emily: Mark had been captured. A sense of relief flooded her body, but the emotional scars of that night would stay with her forever. The police thanked her quick action, which was crucial in preventing Mark from causing further harm. The experience left Emily shaken but stronger. She learned to trust her instincts and never underestimate the importance of vigilance. Her life changed that night, but with the support of family, friends, and therapists, she found the strength to overcome the trauma. Mark faced justice, but the shadow of his presence still lingered in Emily's mind. However, she was determined not to let that dark chapter define her. Life went on, and she chose to move forward, always alert to signs of danger and grateful for each day given to her.